on the third China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo, CAETE, which is about to be organized in Changsha very soon. Today we have invited Mr. Li Fei, Vice Minister of Commerce, Zhou Haibing, Vice Governor of the People's Government of Hunan Province, to brief us on the preparations of the third CAETE and also China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation, and they will also take your questions. Also present with us today, DG Mr. Jiang Wei from MOFCOM, and Mr. Shen Yumo, DG of the Provincial Department of Commerce. First of all, to Mr. Li Fei. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure for me to be here together with my colleagues to brief you on the third CAETE preparation as well as the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. The third CAETE will be organized in Changsha, Hunan Province between the 29th of June and 2nd of July. The theme topic is Common Development of a Shared Future. And this is an event co-organized by MOFCOM and the People's Government of Hunan Province. This is one of the highlight events for China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the proposal of Belt and Road Initiative, as well as the principles of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, as well as the sound values of justice and benefits. Over the past decades, we have progressed a lot. First, for the scope of cooperation, we have surpassed the $2 trillion for our bilateral trade, and China has remained the largest trading partner for Africa. We have signed more than $700 billion of value of contracts. The FDI by China in Africa surpassed $30 billion, and we have become the third largest investing country in Africa. We have also offered more than 100,000 candidacy opportunities for the training programs in China. We have also sent doctors and medical personnel to help African continent. And for the areas of cooperation, not only with trade, but also finance, green development, and spatial development. Today, we are also developing the digital infrastructure, mobile payment, as well as the entertainment. Together with 27 African countries, we have signed agreements on the civil aviation. For Algeria and Nigeria, we have helped them to develop their satellites. With 52 countries, as well as the Commission of the African Union, we have signed the Belt and Road Initiative Agreement, as well as for the unimpeded trade, as well as e-commerce and other sectors. We have set up specific working groups. We also support the development of FTA, free trade zones in Africa. We're also working with the African Secretariat on the free trade development. During the 8th ministerial meeting of FOCAC, President Xi has mentioned that we will carry out 9 major projects, and we will build up a higher quality of community of a shared future for Chinese and African people. This is a new guideline for our relationships. CAETE is one of the important working mechanisms of FOCAC. It's also an important window to facilitate our economic and trade cooperation. It's also one of the important significant moves for China to open the country even wider towards the outside world. We will continue to work according to the working arrangements of the CPC Central Committee and the central government to create a good brand of CAETE with more important influences on the world. And also we will contribute to higher quality development of this platform of cooperation as well as for our community of a shared future for China and Africa. I warmly welcome all the friends and colleagues to participate in the 3rd edition of the CAETE. I also hope that our friends of media will continue to follow our development. Now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Zhou Haibing. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the media, good afternoon. Thank you for your support and long-term attention on the CAETE, as well as the socio-economic development of Hunan province. And now I'd like to make an introduction on the preparations of the third edition of CAETE. The third China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo, namely CAETE, is one of the largest platforms for cooperation in the framework of FOCAC. On the first edition, we have received a congratulating letter from President Xi Jinping. We have tried out new pathways of collaboration and new highlands of cooperation to turn a new page in the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. According to the instructions of President Xi Jinping, we can find guidelines and also the future development direction to follow. Hunan province has diligently followed the guidelines and instructions made by President Xi Jinping. We have built up long-term working mechanism in hybrid rice plantation, equipment manufacturing, mining, bridge construction, and road construction. We have already yielded a lot of significant results. Last year, our trading volume with Africa registered a year-on-year increase of 42.8%, and total volume has surpassed $55.6 billion. This year, the third edition of CAETE will be organized between the 29th of June and the 2nd of July in the capital city of Hunan province, Changsha. The topic is Common Development for a Shared Future. Benin, DRC, Madagascar, Malawi, and Morocco, Mozambique, Nigeria, Zambia. In total, 8 African countries will be the guest countries of honor, and Shandong province and Hubei province of China will be the thematic provinces. Until now, 53 African countries, more than 30 provinces and regions, as well as 1,500 Chinese enterprises, financial institutions, and commercial chambers have registered in the participation. Our province will do our best to well organize the third edition of CAETE. This is also our contribution to the application of instructions made during the 20th CPC National Congress. We will try our best to make it influential with fruitful results. During the third CAETE, we will organize the opening ceremony and the Forum on China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation, 9 forums directed by the ministries and governmental departments. We have 3 symposiums and 13 sessions of meetups for local regions. Topics are customs clearance, textiles, light industries, medical industries, women development, younger generation development, professional education. We will also publish the report on China-Africa relations, China-Africa Economic and Trade Index. In total, there will be 20 more expected results for the main venue. It's in the Changsha International Conference Center. In total, we have 6 meeting halls and 1 areas. The total area of exhibition would surpass 100,000 square meters, and we will bring craftsmen products as well as wine and many others. For example, daily necessities, agricultural machineries, medical products, and manufacturing equipment to the exhibition centers. There will also be a demonstration park for this third edition of CAETE. and this will be a continuous event. The third edition of CAETE is about to start soon. We sincerely welcome all of you to come to the province of Hunan to pay a personal visit to our province so you can see the atmosphere of the vigorous collaboration of China and Africa. Now, the floor is open for a question. Please first identify yourself before raising the question. Thank you. With CCTV, just now we mentioned that during the 8th ministerial meeting of FOCAC, China has proposed the 9 major projects. What is the recent progress and what is the next step? Thank you very much for your question. I'd like to take this one. For the 9 major projects, they are very important guidelines for China to collaborate with Africa for the current moment and also the near future to come. MOFCOM has attached great importance to this plan, and we have also elaborated detailed plans. We are in collaborating with the local governments, and for each country there is one brochure and one plan. For example, after the outbreak of COVID-19, we have immediately dispatched our vaccine products to Africa, and we have also completed the construction of the African CDC. And we have also helped to cure 1.46 million patients in Africa. Today, we have also offered food remedies and rescue plans to African countries. We have also demonstrated the ways to reduce the poverty. We encouraged Chinese enterprises to work in 44 African countries. There are more than 100 projects on the way for the assumption of social responsibility. For the 16 African countries, they have received the access for their products to be exported to China, and many other African products have been enjoying the zero tax treatment, zero tariff treatment. And there is more than $5 billion of direct investment made by China on the continent of Africa. And we have also created cross-border R&D center. For the digital innovation, we have kicked off the projects of remote satellites, and we have organized the first Beidou collaboration forum. For the green development, we have regional cooperation centers that have been inaugurated. We also have kicked off the green innovation plans. China, Nigeria, hydropower stations, as well as the other photovoltaic stations, they are working very well. For the capacity building, we have underway a plan for vocational education. 7 provinces and cities and 14 vocational schools in China have collaborated with 13 schools in 11 African countries. They have set up the collaboration relationships. Last year, we have contracted a lot of projects to create more than 300,000 new jobs for African countries. And for peaceful development, we have also collaborated very well with African countries. This year is a typical year for the application of the 9 major projects. We will continue to work under the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era and uphold the principles of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, and sound values of justice and benefit to open a new page in the China-Africa economic and trade cooperation and contribute a bigger part in the development of China-Africa shared community of a shared future. Next question, please. Thank you. With Economic Daily, we know that recently Hunan province has maintained a very fast growth in the foreign trade with Africa. What are the details about your creation of a long-term working mechanism to maintain this momentum in cooperation with Africa? Thank you very much for this question. In 2020, President Xi Jinping, during his visit in Hunan, has stressed that we have to be more proactive in serving the national strategy and also create a long-term working mechanism. We have to be fully integrated in the development of Belt and Road Initiative and also to kick off an innovative development of China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. We have been exploring new pathways and models for China-Africa Economic Cooperation. In 2022, our trade volume with Africa has been doubled in comparison with that in 2020, mainly in 5 aspects. First of all, in the trading activities, we have deepened our collaboration with international organizations. We have promoted the access to the markets of 6 types of products coming from 5 African countries, and for the good products coming from Africa, we have to open the market even wider for them. For coffee, nuts, and others, in total 10 production chains, and also 100 products of African, they are now present in the Chinese market. We are also organizing all different kinds of exhibitions. We have the AEO mutual recognition. We are also constructing the offshore stockages in Africa. And second, industrial interaction. We are now docking our plans and initiatives with the African strategies for development. For example, in Tanzania, Madagascar, we are developing agricultural cooperation parks to promote soybeans, corns, and paddy rice development. And we also have the industry-wide cooperation in Côte d'Ivoire and Rwanda. We are developing natural rubber, palm oil, and we are connecting the production with the commercialization. And third is the transportation cooperation. From Changsha to Nairobi, we have the direct flights, and also we have the lines of planes connecting Changsha and Addis Ababa for the cargo flights. We have also constructed one mechanism enabling the connection of the maritime transportation and continental transportation. And the fourth is the financial mutually beneficial cooperation. We have financial cooperation centers. We have the pilot programs for the local currencies for South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Botswana, Zambia. In total, 6 African countries. We have presented the foreign exchange settlement and sale on public demand. We give the guidance to financial institutions to give greater support to African activities. For example, the purchasing cross-border logistics and overseas storage programs. Fifth, the mutual aid. In Hunan province, we have created a research association for the China-Africa collaboration. And also we have created the alliances of think tanks to conduct mutual researches, and we can share the results of researches together and share our experiences. We encourage the commercial chambers of all African countries to create bureaus as well as offices of representation here in China. Nigeria's promotion of trade, a chamber has created their bureau here. And also some other countries will also settle their representation office here in Changsha. Thank you. With Xinjiang Journal. Commerce and trade is one important part of the China-Africa cooperation. With greater ties, what are the characteristics of the China-Africa economic and trade? I'd like to give the question to DG Jiang. In general, China-Africa trade is quite balanced. We have also calculated, starting from 2000 until now, it's been a period of 23 years. We have imported from Africa $1.42 trillion. We have exported $1.58 trillion. In the meantime, China-Africa trade is quite complementary and mutually beneficial. Our trade has benefited the socio-economic development on both sides and also improved the livelihood of people on both sides. More specifically, there are 4 types of characteristics. First of all, the scale has progressed a lot. In recent years, we have made a lot of new records. For example, last year, the total value of our foreign trade reached more than $280 billion, and year-on-year increase of 11%. Our importation from Africa with a total value of more than $110 billion. And second, greater level of facility in our trade. Between China and certain African countries, we have created working groups on trade to settle any problems we can possibly encounter for the least developed African countries. For 98% of their products exported towards the Chinese market, it's zero tariff treatment, and we have also created a fast track for their exportation of agricultural products towards China. We have provided so much convenience to the exportation of African products towards the Chinese market. In 2018, we organized the Beijing Summit of FOCAC. And in 2021, we organized the 8th ministerial meeting of FOCAC. We have created respectively 5.1 and 10 billion, 5.1 billion and 10 billion credits of financial services. And third, we have broadened the channels for cooperation. For example, we have created the CAETE. We have organized delegations to do the purchasing on spot in African, and we have organized online e-commerce festivals for shopping. We have enlarged the channels to import more African products to satisfy the demands of Chinese customers. For example, cosmetic products, skincare products from Morocco, chocolate from Ghana, and the wine, the red wine from South Africa. They have become very popular on the Chinese market. Next is that we have integrated industries. We encourage capable enterprises to go to Africa for investment in manufacturing, tertiary sector, and also in agriculture. We also have trade and economic cooperation zones. They can have a bigger role to play in the future, contributing to the increasing value added in their products. and also to strengthen the African countries' capacity in exporting more of their products. In comparison with the two previous editions, what are the highlights of the third edition of CAETE? I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Shen Yuguo, DG of the Hunan Provincial Department of Commerce. Thank you for this question. We have already successfully organized the two editions of CAETE, making this event more famous than ever. For the upcoming third edition of CAETE, there are 4 new highlights. First of all, the platform is more influential. One is that we have more diversified activities. We have been very open and cooperative in organization of the event. There will be 40 different events and higher levels of events. For example, the ministerial organizations will be responsible for the organization of some of the forums and symposiums. We have invited the national administrations, for example, for the drug management, for the Chinese traditional medicine, the National Union of Women, as well as the other government agencies to take charge of the events in the framework of CAETE. We will organize forums on the women's development, career development, traditional Chinese medicine, as well as infrastructure. For the first time, we will talk about the special textile industry and light industry. We will organize the meetups to satisfy the demands of the African continent. Second, there will be more exhibitors and also buyers coming to our event, more than 1,500 of them, of increase of 55%. There will be more than 8,000 professional audiences and participants. And in total, there will be more than 100,000 visits. Between the 1st and the 2nd of July, the whole event will be open to the public. We will also be doing some demonstrative activities, for example, online promotion of African products, the Cafe Masters Championship, as well as the other e-commerce activities. All the citizens and people, they are welcome to join our events. And third, larger surface for the exhibition. For example, more than 100,000 square meters, an increase of more than 30,000 square meters. With a larger surface, we can present more products of higher quality. And for the first time, we will organize an exhibition to brief and present the accomplishments of the Belt and Road Initiative and also women's development. We also give the windows to each country to present their own products. For example, the precious stones of Mozambique and sculptures of wood from Zimbabwe and cosmetic products of Senegal, as well as many other representative products from the other African countries. And fourth, we have practical results. Before the official kickoff of this third edition, we will first of all publish a series of potential projects. Today, for the potential projects, we have reached a number of 156, total value of $10 billion. We will also publish the report of China-Africa Trade Cooperation and China-Africa Trade Index, as well as the case studies of the assumption of social responsibility of enterprises from China working in Africa. Next question, please. Thank you. With CNS, we noticed that recently the municipal delegations from Hunan province have visited frequently African continent. What is the intention behind the visits, and what is the plan for the next stage of development? Thank you for this question. First of all, I thank you for your attention given to the foreign exchanges carried out by our province. In order to carry out the instructions of President Xi Jinping for the creation of long-term working mechanism to facilitate China-Africa economic and trade cooperation, and under the guidance of the ministries and the central government, People's Government of Hunan Province has mobilized the cities in our province at municipal levels. We have carried out matching cooperation with African countries. The main intention is to first of all take actions and be active. The CAETE, as well as the pilot zones for China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation, are the two major platforms that are settled and created in Hunan province. In inland China, our province has become a highland for China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation, a wonderful opportunity. We would like to make full use of the spillout effect of the national strategy. In the construction of the new paradigm for development, we are pursuing the local development of the province, and we can also share the development opportunities with other provinces and regions. Taking the opportunity of the CAETE and based on the current foundations of the China-Africa cooperation, we have studied in depth to decide two collaborating African countries for each municipality. And before the official organization of the third CAETE, those local municipal delegations have visited African countries to promote the event and also to invite our African friends to come to visit and participate in the Expo. And third, during the Expo, we will mobilize all the municipalities to give one-on-one treatment and hospitality services to the matching African countries. We will also visit the embassies of these African countries in China. We make sure that there is advertisement and promotion before the Expo. During the Expo, there will be wonderful hospitality services, and after the Expo, there will also be following-up visits. We have, during this round of visits, visited 28 African countries. We have met with the representatives of the government, associations of industries, and chambers of commerce to facilitate our project execution. We have also signed a series of agreements for collaboration with some African countries, and we have yielded significant results during our current visits. Our visits have also caught a lot of attention. In China and in Africa, there are many news reports about our visits. Moving forward, Hunan province will continue our efforts based on this round of foreign visits to fully improve our mechanism for the long-term cooperation for infrastructure, electricity, energy, exploration, agriculture, mining, automobile and parts manufacturing, as well as the medical equipment manufacturing. We can yield more accomplishments and become a new highland for China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. Next question, please. With the Phoenix Media Group, we know that in recent years, the African integration process has worked very well. What China has done to support this progress of integration? Economic integration of Africa is a direction based on the consensus of African people and African leaders. They have worked very hard towards this direction with very good results. In recent years, African economic integration process has worked very well. One example is the development of the African continental free trade zones, which has been officially kicked off on the first day of 2021. This is a very huge market with a very big population and a total value of $2.3 trillion. Now for the 55 countries, 54 of them have signed the agreement and they are negotiating on the key agreement. Some of the countries have already started the pilot projects for the settlement and surveillance. Those projects are also on the way. In the meantime, the cross-border infrastructure on the continent is also under construction with very good progress. African economic integration process would be injecting new vitality in the continental economic development and also in the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. China has been very supportive in this process. In the future, we will strengthen our cooperation in three aspects. First of all, we encourage Chinese enterprises to bring into full play our advantages and participate in the infrastructure building in Africa. We will help the Africa continent to build up this convenient and highly efficient market for all. Second, with African Union, we have created a mechanism of experts group. Moving forward, we will also enhance the role played by this mechanism of expert teams. And third, within our capabilities, we will support the Free Trade Zone Secretariat's work, for example, for exchanges and also capacity building, give practical support to this process of economic integration. Next question, please. Thank you. With China Daily. This time, the third CAETE will be organized offline. How can you guarantee a good organization of the events? To Mr. Shen, please. Thank you very much for this question. To well organize the CAETE is an important goal for China and Africa to further deepen economic and trade cooperation between China and Africa. It's also one important vehicle for us to give better services to the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. We will make the third edition better than the two previous ones. And we will deliver wonderful services during the CAETE of the third session. We will make it adapted to the Chinese characteristics and also to the demands of the African participants. And we will also present the features of the Hunan province. First of all is the enthusiasm. Currently, we have fully controlled the COVID-19 prevention and control situation. We can once again meet each other in person and organize this Expo offline. This is an event that has attracted so much attention. People, they are very enthusiastic to participate in the Expo. We have recruited and trained 350 volunteers to give hospitality services to our participants. We have also elaborated plans of one-on-one service. We have standardized the services during the Expo so that our visitors can be satisfied with the treatment. We have also collaborated more closely with the MOFCOM and also Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China. For exhibition venues, hotels, we have improved the conditions, and also for the security guards as well as the medical clinics, we have also made plans. In the hotels and exhibition venues, we have some backup plans for the electricity, for water, and also for energy supply. We have also created a plan for the customs clearance. We have people on duty 24 hours during the day to facilitate the process. Changsha is a city famous for its good environment and for its cultural background. And we will also present this facet of the city to our foreign visitors. Changsha will be a wonderful city of host to present a good edition of China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo. We will present a very beautiful image of the city of Changsha to our foreign friends. This event is 16 days away. And we hope that 16 days later, all of you could come to Changsha to enjoy this gala event between China and Africa. Thank you. With ChinaNet, in recent years, we have deepened our commercial ties. Could you please share with us the details about Chinese investment in Africa and what is the consideration for the next stage of investment? Thank you. I will take this one. The investment and collaboration is an important part of China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation in recent years. The collaboration in investment has also progressed and advanced a lot. So I'd like to share with you more statistics. For example, last year, China's direct investment in Africa has made an increase of $3.4 billion as end of last year. China's stock of direct investment in Africa reached $47 billion. We are the fourth largest investor in Africa. There are more than 3,000 Chinese enterprises investing in the continent. There are several characteristics about our investment. First of all, we have been enlarging the domains, for example, mining, architecture, manufacturing, science and technology, agriculture, real estate, finance, and also e-commerce. We are enlarging the domains of collaboration. Second, more flexibility with the investment, for example, merger and acquisition. And third is that we have more diversified entities of investment. Private enterprises account for more than 70% of the total Chinese investors in Africa, and they are playing a major role. Next is that we have been upgrading the platforms for investment. Today we have the China-Africa Economic Cooperation zones. There are clusters of industries. For example, for the first 4 months of this year, the newly added investment went up significantly. There is great resilience in our bilateral trade and also investment. We always encourage capable enterprises with very good reputation to enlarge their investment in Africa. Moving forward, we will work with our partners from Africa to carry out the 9 major projects. For the measures to take, first of all, for institutions, China is willing to work with African countries to sign agreements to avoid double taxation and also to improve the long-term working mechanism for trade and commerce and make our bilateral trade ties more convenient. Second, we have these trade cooperation zones, and also we have corporations of value chain, supply chain, and production chains. We can also build up more platforms for operation and coordinate our policies, dock our demands and supplies, and also tap into our potential of collaboration. And following up is our financial collaboration. We hope that both sides can make full use of the funds of investment, for example, the China-Africa funds for the production. And we encourage the financial institutions to set up the division offices in Africa and also innovate the products available in the market. We can also regularly publish new reports about the investment environment, and Chinese embassies in the African continent can also collaborate with the Chinese enterprises to give them more consultations and information. Last 2 questions for today. Thank you. With the Hong Kong Zijing magazine, in the current context, we have encountered some of the difficulties in the foreign trade. What kind of support will you give to the organization of the 3rd CAETE? To DG Jiang Wei, please. As you have mentioned, China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation has encountered many challenges considering the international situation and context. Against this context, we are organizing the 3rd CAETE in order to consolidate our consensus and confidence. We would like to stand by the side of the African people to overcome the difficulties and create a better future. For the CAETE, it can further contribute to the common development of China and Africa from 3 aspects. First of all, the CAETE has involved many government agencies, for example, the National Administration of Customs, and also the National Commission of Capital, Market Surveillance agencies, as well as the medical care commissions. They can organize activities to attract the representatives of African government and African enterprises. In the meantime, we can create together opportunities for doing business. During the Expo, we will publish some new policies and agreements. These new documents would be further steps to carry out the 9 major projects. This is number 1. Second, in our collaboration of African countries, the local provinces and regions in China have been playing a bigger role. They have made economic progress, and they have respectively elaborated their own plans of collaboration with African countries. For the CAETE of this time, we will bring into full play the role of each province and regions. Number 3, last but not the least, enterprises, they are the major players in the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. So for government agencies, we will try our best to create such a platform so the enterprises can mount on the platforms to collaborate with their African partners to sign agreements and also to yield practical results. Last question, please. Thank you. I'm with Aoya TV. We noticed that there will be 156 projects to be signed during the third CAETE. Total value would be more than $10 billion. You would also publish some case studies for the Chinese enterprises assuming their social responsibilities in Africa. Could you please give us more details about their influence? For the collaboration projects, currently we have collected 156 projects of different types. Total value is $10.7 billion. Some of the projects will be signed during the third CAETE. Some others are potential ones that are still seeking potential partners. They are from investment, contracting, construction, and all the other diversified areas. Agriculture, transportation, electricity, energy, manufacturing are most popular domains for cooperation projects. And from that, you can see that we have actually selected some key directions and domains of interest for the China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation. For all these projects, we will do a preliminary selection to make sure all those projects are in high quality. We will also publish a report on the China-Africa relations and also the China-Africa Trade Index. This index will be based on the digital technology to give us the barometer of the market. We can make full use of this barometer to make future decisions about the economic and trade collaboration. For the China-Africa Relations Report, we will put into it the reviews of the recent year's results and accomplishments, make a prediction of future successful results, and we will also put into the report some case studies and good practices. We have carried out the program of 100 enterprises for 1,000 villages. This is a way to encourage Chinese enterprises to assume their social responsibilities on the continent. We can share some good case studies with all the participants of the third CAETE. For all those collaboration projects and accomplishments, we will publish all of them during the Expo. It can help to consolidate the practical economic and trade cooperation between China and Africa, and this is also a very good example to follow in the future. Moving forward, we will also keep up with the following up visits and investigation to coordinate with our partners to overcome the problems during the collaboration and execution of the projects. The CAETE should be playing a bigger role in promoting China-Africa economic and trade cooperation. And we can also become a very famous platform for the publication of China-Africa economic and trade collaboration projects. Thank you very much for your briefing, and thank you for your attention. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.